Get ready for the future. Brand new shows from the Peppa universe are coming fresh out of the oven so you can have even more fun. Are you ready to find out what the future holds for Peppa, Evie, and George? Evie in America. Fans already know that Evie Pig is becoming an even more important character than Peppa, but the show's creators aren't going to change who the main character is. That's why Evie will probably star in a brand new story when she travels to the United States. If you watch Peppa, you know it takes place in the UK, but Peppa's family has friends and relatives in America, the main one being Aunt Dottie, who's Mommy Pig's sister. What we know is that Aunt Dottie left home very early. In the episode Time Capsule, we see a video from when Peppa's parents were kids, and Aunt Dottie is nowhere to be seen. That proves the pig family has a habit of separating siblings while they're still young. Evie might go live with Aunt Dottie in the United States, and because of that, she'd get to make new friends and go to an American school. That means fans would get two awesome series to enjoy, one with Peppa in the UK, and another one with Evie and her new friends on the other side of the world. How cool would that be? This new show would feature the American version of Miss Rabbit, and even Super Potato as the hero of the day who helps Evie on her adventures. Of course, the creators of Peppa haven't officially announced this new project yet, but our sources say it's getting closer every day. So grab your popcorn, because another Cinewave is about to begin. George. And who said the middle child wouldn't get his moment to shine? George is also getting his own series in the coming years, and this new show will be called The Adventures of George. The story is really fun. Once Peppa's little brother grows up and starts talking, we'll see him making new friends at school. But that's just the beginning. As you know, Grandpa Pig is a former sailor who owns a boat, and he's gone on lots of adventures with his grandson in different episodes. The idea for the series is exactly that. George will travel with Grandpa Pig and his friends across the seas, going on adventures all over Europe. Everyone knows this makes total sense for George, because one of the things he'll do is search for dinosaur bones in different countries. He's really good at it. We already saw him find an ancient bone in Grandpa Pig's garden in one episode. Will our little piggy discover a brand new species and become an archaeologist? We'll find out when George's series hits the screen. Daddy Pig. How about a show just for Daddy Pig? Yes, that's totally possible in the future. Although the creators haven't yet explained how it might go, since there are two possible directions. Daddy Pig works in an office, helping design homes, like we saw in the episode where he draws up plans for Mr. Wolf's house. So the first option would be a show focused on Daddy Pig at work, dealing with important city matters like building construction. That could be hilarious, because this character is always finding himself in funny situations. We've already seen Daddy Pig running a marathon, falling out of a plane, and even messing up while using a hammer. The other option would be a show about Daddy Pig's childhood, showing the games he used to play with his brother and even his parents, who are still a total mystery. Another thing fans want to see is Daddy Pig's friendship with Aunt Dottie, especially since we've seen an old photo of the two of them in his office. They used to be very close friends, but then Daddy Pig married Aunt Dottie's sister. Maybe that mystery will finally be solved in Daddy Pig's own series. Sounds pretty interesting, right? Miss Rabbit. What if the biggest mystery in Peppa Pig finally got solved in a show all about Miss Rabbit? How does she manage to handle so many jobs? So far, we've seen Miss Rabbit work as a cashier at the supermarket, a shoe store owner, an ice cream vendor, a pilot, a flight attendant, and even a rescue chief flying a helicopter. And that's not even the full list. According to official info, Miss Rabbit has 47 jobs. A show starring Miss Rabbit could finally reveal how she manages to juggle all of them. Can she control time? Or maybe she has thousands of clones doing what she tells them to do. One of the most popular theories is that Miss Rabbit is actually a super spy who follows the pig family around, and that's why it feels like she's everywhere, even though she's only ever shown up in places where Peppa is. Get ready to uncover all of Miss Rabbit's secrets in the upcoming series, The Rabbit Files, which should be hitting the screen in the next few years. What's your favorite show idea so far? Comment with #Peppa so we can connect. The Sisters. Instead of a Miss Rabbit show like the one we know, where she's already in most episodes, another new idea could be taking shape in the Peppa universe. Miss Rabbits around the world. In the New York episode, the American Miss Rabbit says there's one of her in every city in the world, but that's a huge mystery that might finally be solved in its own series. Imagine how awesome it would be to find out that there's actually a whole army of Miss Rabbits working across the globe, and they all know each other because their master plan is to take over the world. Sure, we've already seen this plan in action throughout the Peppa show, but a full TV series about all the Miss Rabbits would be the best way to finally understand this mystery. Don't you agree?
It is Miss Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, Miss Rabbit, and Miss Rabbit.
Hooray! It's the Miss Rabbits!
Suzy Sheep. And Peppa's best friend, Suzy Sheep, definitely deserves her very own series, But hold on, we know she already plays a big role in Peppa's world, right? True, but that's not what we're talking about now. Suzy has a ton of mysteries that could only be explained if she were the main character of her own show. First of all, where's Suzy's dad? There are no rams in the series. In other words, not a single male sheep appears in the entire show. Suzy's whole family is made up of female characters, Mummy Sheep, her grandma, and cousin Charlotte. A show with Suzy as the star could finally solve that mystery and maybe even confirm whether or not she's a clone, as many fans believe. That theory comes from the idea that Suzy might be inspired by Dolly the sheep, who was a real-life clone. Just imagine how amazing it would be to find out that Suzy is just a copy of the other sheep women out there. Her show would be called Suzy's World, and we'd get to see what her life is like away from her best friend Peppa. Would you watch it? Grandpa Rabbit. How amazing would it be to watch Grandpa Rabbit's adventures in outer space? He's the only character with the power to travel to other planets since he owns a rocket, and he's even taken Peppa to the moon before. This new series would show Grandpa Rabbit visiting every planet in the solar system, and we discover there's life on them, with alien cities and spaceships. Can you imagine how cool it would be to find out that he's actually a space pirate who hides treasure on the moon? Grandpa Rabbit definitely has a hidden fortune because it makes no sense that he can just travel through space. The Queen allows him to have a rocket, and that's another mystery in the show. Only a series about Grandpa Rabbit's adventures could finally answer all the fan theories. That's why you should be excited, because our channel will bring you every update on this new show as soon as it drops. Pedro Pony. A Pedro Pony series might be exactly what fans need. Honestly, he's one of the funniest characters in the show. In the episode Pedro's Cough Syrup, the little pony passed a cold to the entire school, and even the students' parents. Not that that's funny, but because of it, everyone had to take some really bitter medicine. Then, in the episode Pedro is Late, he overslept through the whole morning and completely forgot about a school field trip. And in the end, he even managed to forget that he had to go back home. All of this only happens because Pedro is such a clumsy little guy, and a series where he's the main character would be a guaranteed laugh. Pedro's new show could be the start of a romance between him and Peppa, since in the episode The Future, Peppa says she's going to marry him. What do you think about that? It could also be the start of our friendship. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Madame Gazelle. Madame Gazelle is a character who definitely deserves a series of her own. Everyone knows the town's teacher is a vampire, which is why this new show would be called The Dark Nights of Madame Gazelle, where we'd see how she feeds. We don't need to explain what vampires eat, right? And in Madame Gazelle's case, the show could reveal all the centuries she spent living in hiding and all the mysteries behind her powers. And of course, we'd finally find out what happened to Madame Gazelle's husband, since we see a photo of him at her house and then a portrait of the same character in the Science Museum. Is the vampire's husband still alive, or is he sleeping in a coffin somewhere? We'll find out in the next episodes. Pirate Redbeard. One of the biggest mysteries in the entire show might finally be revealed with the arrival of Pirate Redbeard's own series. He's one of the few humans who has appeared in Peppa's world, and even though he already has a treasure on his boat, he's still walking around town looking for more gold. Which makes sense, of course, since he is a pirate. Redbeard also seems to be the only one connected to another universe created by the same team behind Peppa. He also shows up in the show Ben and Holly, which is from the same studio. This pirate is also seen on the City Festival posters in the episode Children's Festival, and in that same story, everyone finds out that he used to be the owner of Polly, Grandpa Pig's parrot. In this new series, fans could uncover all the mysteries of the ocean, whether fairies like Holly really exist, or if Polly is actually a pirate spy. Would you watch this show? It might be coming to TV soon. Santa Claus. Who wouldn't want to watch a series about Peppa's Santa Claus? That would be so much fun because it could show his entire toy factory, the gifts he delivers to kids at Christmas, and even how he decides whether they deserve a good present or not. In the episodes, Santa would be putting together his nice list, and one of the kids on that list would definitely be Peppa. In one special story, Santa would deliver E-Pig's very first present, the toy that will become her favorite, just like Peppa has Teddy and George has Mr. Dinosaur. So the big question is, what would Evie's toy be? That's an easy one. It has to be a stuffed animal, and the best option is a stuffed duck, since the official image of Evie on the show's website shows her surrounded by yellow ducks. You know what else is easy? Choosing to stick with us. We've picked out 2 more videos just for you to enjoy. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care!